Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the future of Dungeons & Dragons in print. All right, so before we talk about the future, let's talk about the now. All right, let's talk about 5th edition and the decisions they made for print books. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Mike Merles, and I want to say thank you to Todd Krennick, and I want to say thank you to Kate Welch, and I want to say thank you to Chris Perkins, and everybody who works at Wizards of the Coast, now Hasbro Gaming. And I want to say thank you for the print products that came out of 5th edition. They're really beautiful. I love them. I know a lot of people complained about quality. I'll tell you right now, I never had any problems with any of my books that I bought from Hasbro Gaming. For any book from 5th edition, I bought the PHB, the MMG, I brought the PHB, the MM, and the DMG day one on every single one of those products. I bought the box sets, and I bought a number of the adventures. Not all of them. I'm not that big a fan of adventures. But I have never had any problems with the physical. By the way, I do think that the first box set of 5e was pretty bad. The Essentials Guide the Essentials box is Essentials Kit, is fantastic. Brilliant, beautiful product. Love it. But really, the reality is, when it comes to physical print products, I have no complaints for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And I'm really very thankful for the wonderful books I've been able to purchase. I think I got my money's worth. I love it, right? The one thing that I think is really interesting is the decisions they made, though. Here's the thing. They kept it simple. So the PHB it's a bog standard preservation of the traditional, like 8.5 by 11. I think they're a little bigger than a piece of paper, but they generally look like about the size and ratio of a portrait piece of paper, okay? The hardback books. They're all between 256 and like 325 pages long. And that is the standard print product for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And actually, it's following the preservation of a tradition that goes back all the way to 1st edition. There have been hardbacks for every single edition. And that's what I want to talk about today. So the other thing is, one thing that is really, really fascinating with 5th edition, where 5th edition really broke tradition, is think about adventures and modules, right? In 2nd edition and in 2nd edition, they were like little flimsy books. They were paper, right? There were some of them were like bigger paper hardbacks, and there's all kinds of form factors. They all had the same size. They all had that portrait piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, generally. Was the size, but then you didn't know if you were getting a soft cover or hardcover. And also, when it comes to adventures, they could be 64 pages, they could be 128, they could be like, but not like 5th edition. 5th edition locked it in, and they were like, each adventure book is going to be the same size as the PHB, the MMG, or the Monster Manual generally. And so we'll just lock that form factor for your adventure books right into the same factor that you have for the core books, which is really, really interesting. I love that aspect of Dungeons & Dragons games. I think it's really interesting, and I like that form factor. There's a lot of advantages to it, okay? And I've dug it for 5th edition, okay? So you have that, and here's some of the advantages of it, right? It's simple. It was very simple for them. They were able to knock the product out easily because they already knew, they could just send it to the printer. They're like, hey, this is the same thing. It's just a different number of pages, right? So it just really cuts down their customization. Their product creation was on rails, which there's a lot of advantages to that. When you customize things go wrong fast. And when you keep a default, when you keep a standard, it really reduces mistakes and errors and defects. Okay, so that's one of the benefits. The other thing is your adventures went right up on the shelf, directly next to your PHBs, and they look gorgeous on the shelf. You got that nice spine. You got that text on there. It's clear what you're about to read. They look fantastic on the shelf. That is a big deal, especially for people who love print books. All right, that's the now. Let's talk about the future. Where are we going? Okay, for 6th edition, let's break it. Let's break it, right? Let's break this tradition. I think we're done with these big old books. Break it. So I don't think we should preserve this form factor anymore. And the reason why is print, we gotta go one way or another. Print is really unusual. The future of the game, the future of the product, without a doubt, No two ways about it. This is no longer debatable. The future of Dungeons & Dragons product is digital. Digital. That is going to be the core product. That is what they're going to be thinking about going forward, because more people are playing on laptops than unfolding their books. And there are a ton of people who are still buying print books, but they want that PDF. They want that that digital product. A lot of people literally want the book for no other reason to sit on a shelf, and then they want the digital product to use. So you got people who want the digital product and no print. You got people who want the print book and are never even they're gonna open it 2 times. It's never gonna be used in play. It's just gonna sit on a shelf, but they want it there. There are those people. That is a market. Trust and believe. And then you got people who are gonna buy a print book and never use the digital product. That last group is a person named Becky and one raccoon in Nevada. It is so small, like it's ridiculously small, and we cannot build product for them. All right, but print is important from a street cred perspective. Print is important because news stories are going to be like whatever the form factor is for Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to make international news. There will be news about this all over the world. There'll be web stories about it. There'll be video stories about it. There'll be articles about it, video stories about it. There'll be podcasts about it, and they'll be in America and they'll be in other countries. It'll be global. It'll be in multi-format. Whatever they decide to do with Dungeons and Dragons for the print is going to make news, unless they keep it the same. That's boring. That won't make news. But if they break the tradition. Now, you can break in 2 directions. You can go cheap, or you can go very, very expensive. And I think that's what they should do, right? There's 2 ways to go. Let's talk about the cheap way. And there's some really cool options. And actually, I shouldn't say cheap. I should say cheaper, okay? You could go comic books. You could make the print version of Dungeons & Dragons comic books. It's brilliant. Use the American standard comic book, right? So, and what you could do is you can make it completely modular. We already know you can get the most basic spare version of Dungeons & Dragons down to 34 pages, sorry. Yes. No, it's 32 pages. I already know this, right? And the reason why is it's already done. It is in the Stranger Things rule book. The rule book in Stranger Things is super simple, super spare. It's down to like 32 pages. It's very, very small, right? So you could make that into a comic book. You could get the Dungeons & Dragons basic rules into a single comic book, okay? And allow somebody to play Dungeons & Dragons with the purchase of literally a $5 comic book. That would be amazing. And then allow them to add modules of rules by just buying more comic books. I think this is absolutely brilliant. You could make the rules of Dungeons & Dragons fully accessible, everything you need to play in a single 24, you could get the rules of Dungeons & Dragons down to 24 pages. I know they could do it. They could sell that simple, singular comic book on day 1. Everybody could buy that and never need to buy anything else. But beyond that, you can go to, here's the Ranger full set, right? The Ranger's described in 1 paragraph in the regular book, but here's the Ranger full set. You buy this book, now you have 25 different options with your Ranger. You buy this book, now you have 25 different options with this fighter. And then the subclasses for fighter, here's 6 different fighter subclasses. Every single one of them is a singular comic book. I love this idea, right? I love the idea that my Dungeons & Dragons rule book would exist in a long box. That is the best in the world to me. I would love this. Absolutely love it. And I think a lot of other people would love it too. And the other thing is you would really help a dying format, because print comics are in trouble, right? But they could use the juice, and they could use the support of Dungeons & Dragons, which has a lot of street cred, and it would be really good. This is very important to understand. The print version, it ain't about money. It's all about reputation. It's all about respect. It's all about what it generates as far as excitement and talk and buzz, okay? And if you think I'm wrong, look at comic books today. They are printing comic books. They don't care how many comic books Spider-Man sells because the movies are making billions. Who cares what your Spider-Man, if your comic book sells 10,000 or 100,000 copies, if your movie's making $2 billion or $1 billion, right? Who cares? It's the same thing with Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons' profit center is not print. It is not print. It is merch, and it is streamed games, and it is video game tie-ins, and it is a million other much better business models than print. The money from print does not matter. The reputation, the fuel, the nitro, the excitement, the compelling aspects of print are still important. You need print. Print is the goose that lays the golden egg. You cannot slay it. You cannot. Right? And comics know this too. They realize that those physical print books are a noose around their neck. They can never get rid of them, right? If they cut the cord on them, they will hang, right? That's the way it works. And it's the same with Dungeons & Dragons. They must do it. All right, so there's the comic book option. I just talked about that. Now let's talk about the full wealth. Let's talk about, the Jeff Bezos edition, the Elon Musk edition. Let's talk about the J.K. Rowling edition, right? The billionaires and the millionaires, right? Let's do it, all right? You can go $1,000. You can go, hey, you want to play Dungeons & Dragons? Go get the digital, right? And if you want, and guess what? On the digital, we got a PDF over there. If you want it in print, just print it out yourself. Take it to whatever printer you want, right? But if you want an official printed book, it's $1,000 a book, right? You want a real DMG? You want a real PHB? You want a real monster manual? Well, guess what? You're a weirdo, right? Because nobody's reading print anymore. Why do you even want this, right? But it's okay. If you want, we got you covered. They're $1,000 a piece. They're $1,000 a piece. And then you put gold foil on them. It's full color. The art is gorgeous. It's leather bound. They come in a slipcase. You release a different version with upgraded art, upgraded covers, different leather, alligator skin, whatever you want. And you can't use alligator skin because people love animals now. But you get where I'm coming from, right? Like some kind of new cool interactive, like a hologram on the cover, on the slipcase cover, go really high end, right? And this sounds crazy, $3,000 for 3 books. I'm there day one. I got it. Yeah, I could do it. It would be a stretch. The biggest problem would be selling my wife on it, but she loves me, and I think, we put it on a card or something, and there'd be a lot of other people. If you said, hey, the only way you're getting a Dungeons & Dragons PHB, or DMG is $1,000 a book, then it becomes super zimp. It is just super zimp. That is straight baller cool. And everybody wants it immediately. And the news stories just go through the roof. People are just talking about it. And every YouTuber goes out of their mind and says they hate it and turns their camera off and is doing everything they can to get one. Right? That is a cool way. So these are 2 awesome ways that you can change the print model on Dungeons & Dragons, right? And that you can make Dungeons & Dragons print really, really super exciting, right? But what they shouldn't do is preserve that old model. Print's got to change. For Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition, the print model has to change. Let's not do the old, tired way. Let 5th edition be the last preservation of that crusty old print model. Let's take the print model and make it super affordable, $5 an installment, or let's make it super, super expensive and make those books just beautiful pieces of art that you just want to rub on your face. One or the other. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful, wonderful millennium.